Hey y'all, today we're making three kinds of chicken pizza. Okay, so you're going to start with your mixing bowl. We're going to add in here 1.5 cups of warm water. It needs to be around 100 degrees or so. If it's too hot, it will kill your yeast. If it's not hot enough, it will not activate it. Then I added in 1 tablespoon of sugar. That's also going to help your yeast. Then we're going to add in some active dry yeast. You're going to need either 2 packets of the yeast or 4.5 teaspoons of the yeast. This is my original pizza dough recipe, and I'm doubling it for this video, but I will have it linked down below for y'all, so you will have the written instructions. Just remember that for this recipe, because we're making 4 little pizzas, I did double this. So I mixed that up, and we're going to let it sit for about 5 to 7-ish minutes or so. And we're going to let this yeast bloom. So this is real time. I just wanted, in case you're a new cook, or you're as fascinated by this as I am, I wanted to let you see what yeast blooming actually looks like. Because when I first started cooking years ago, when they said, let your yeast bloom, I had no idea what they were talking about. So this is what it looks like when yeast blooms. It just kind of foams up. And after your 5 to 7 minutes, we already knew when we started seeing it bloom that it's active. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our other ingredients. We're going to add in 2 tablespoons of oil. Now I'm using olive oil. You can use whatever kind of oil you like to use. Any of it will work. But if it's something that has a really strong flavor, obviously your dough may taste like that. So just make sure that it's an oil that you like. So add 2 tablespoons of that right into your bowl. And you don't have to do this with a stand mixer. You can do this by hand, but you do need to mix it for a good amount of time, like probably 8 to 10 minutes. So I added in 2 cups of flour, and now I'm adding in 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and I'm just going to mix my salt in with my flour. Yeast and salt don't always like each other, so I try to mix my salt into my flour. Then I added another tablespoon of sugar and 2 more cups of flour, so a total of 4 cups of flour for this. Then we're going to let this mix with our dough hook for about 5 to 8 minutes or so until our dough is tacky but no longer sticking to our fingers. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. It looks like it's still super sticky right here, but watch when I touch it. See how it still looks a little sticky kind of, but it's not sticking to my hands really bad. Now it did stick to my finger right there. That's okay. It's all fine. But as long as it's not like super wet and sticky, you're good to go. If it's really wet, because sometimes your environment or the kind of flour you're using will make a difference in how much water, your flour absorbs. So if you need to add extra flour, if it's just too sticky, then add like a tablespoon at a time until it's no longer super sticky. You don't want to add too much flour, so just add a tiny bit at a time if you need to. So then we're going to turn this out onto a floured surface, and then I'm just going to roll this around until there's no little sticky spots left on it. Now sometimes when I mix it up, it's a pretty dry dough ball and there's no sticky anywhere, but sometimes, like today, mine is a little on the sticky side too. That's okay. It's not going to come out exactly the same every time. So you just work with what you have. If it's not sticky anywhere at all, then you don't even need to put extra flour on your surface. But mine was a little bit, so I added a tiny bit down there. So then you're going to oil a bowl and put your dough ball in there, and then we're going to put a little oil on the top of our dough ball. That is going to keep your dough from drying out, and it's going to keep it from sticking to whatever you cover your bowl with. I'm using some bowl covers. I'll try to remember to link those, but you can use regular plastic wrap, a damp towel, whatever you have. And we're going to let that rise in a warm spot for about an hour. So while our dough is rising, we're going to get our chicken together. So this is the chicken that we made in the freezer prep video that I did a week or 2 ago, 3 weeks. Time gets away from me, y'all, but we did it recently. The big freezer prep video where we did all the chicken in the crock pot and shredded it. This is some of that chicken. So I'm going to take about a cup. I'm not measuring, but I will give y'all measurements in the description box of where you can kind of start, and you can always add more if you feel like you need to at your house. So about a cup of chicken, and that's just shredded chicken. You can do rotisserie shredded chicken or however you have your chicken. Then we're going to add in some barbecue sauce. I probably added in between a quarter and a half a cup of barbecue sauce. Again, I just eyeball it most times, but I will give you some starting points in the description box. So the next pizza that we're going to do, the first one was barbecue, obviously. The second one that we're going to do is a buffalo, like a buffalo chicken pizza. So you can have this for football, and if you don't want buffalo chicken dip, you can do buffalo chicken pizza. So I added in probably a teaspoon or so of mayonnaise, and then I added in sort of a little heaping teaspoon of my ranch seasoning mix, and then about a teaspoon of milk. If you have bottled ranch dressing, that will work for this. Whatever you have, I will link my ranch seasoning video for y'all down in the description box if you need one. But if not, you can use store-bought, you can use yours, you can use a bottle, like I said. So we're going to mix that up. Then we are going to get our chicken mixed up. So we're going to add to this bowl about another cup or so of chicken. We're using about a cup of chicken in each one of these for these small pizzas. Now, if you're making a much bigger pizza, obviously you're going to need a lot more chicken. If you make little bitty pizzas, you may need less. So this is the buffalo sauce that I'm using today. I am just going to add, again, maybe a quarter cup of the buffalo sauce to my chicken. And then I'm going to mix that up real good until all of my chicken is coated. Then I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so, equal parts of ranch and buffalo sauce, okay? And then you're going to mix that up. That's going to be the base of our pizza. So the third chicken flavor that we're going to make today is going to be Alfredo, like a chicken Alfredo pizza. So I added about a cup more of that chicken into my bowl. And then I'm going to add some Alfredo sauce. Now, this is Alfredo sauce that I made myself. I will link the video for that, the mix down below. And it was super hot, and I didn't give it time to thicken up because I was in a hurry, and I do that sometimes. But it will thicken up. Yours will thicken up if you make it. So, but you can also use jarred Alfredo sauce if you want to, but make sure that you have enough to mix into your chicken, and that is going to be the base of your Alfredo pizza. So once our dough is done, get your oven preheating to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you're going to take your dough, and I'm just trying to kind of get it into a log shape where I can cut it into pretty even pieces. Now I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces because that's how much dough I had. And so I ended up in the video, well, in my real life, whatever, I did the 3 chicken flavored pizzas, and then I also did just a regular pepperoni just because I had an extra thing of dough, but that's not what this video is about. But I did leave it in here, you know, just in case you're watching chicken pizza and you feel like pepperoni too. So I evened out as best I could my little dough balls just so they'll cook even. And then what you're going to do is take a cookie sheet. I have mine lined with silicone mats. You can do whatever pizza pan you use, whatever. My dough is a little on the soft side today, so I'm just pressing it out with my hands, but you can roll it out if your dough's a little bit thicker. And you're just going to roll it out or press it out as thin as you want it. I'm leaving these a little bit thick, and you'll see that when we cook them. But if you like a super thin pizza, then just flatten your dough out to make it thinner before you cook it. You can also, a lot of times I'll poke holes with a fork down in my dough before I cook it to keep it from puffing up too much. Totally spaced on that and didn't do it in this video, but it's fine. So I added that buffalo and ranch sauce down as the base, and then I added some mozzarella cheese, and then I'm adding my buffalo chicken right on top. And you can add anything extra that you want. If you want extra ranch or onions or anything, I was just kind of trying to keep it simple since I was doing so many. And then I added a little bit of mixed shredded cheese on top, and then drizzled some of the, buffalo sauce on top. So for our barbecue pizza, the base of that one is obviously going to be your barbecue sauce. And then we're going to add some mozzarella cheese down. And then we're going to add our barbecued chicken. And you can, if you don't have shredded chicken, you can do like diced chicken or whatever you have, whatever you like will work just fine. So then we're going to add to this one, because I just thought it sounded good and I had it already, some bacon. So I crumbled up a few pieces of bacon on there because it's barbecue, why not? And then I added in some mixed shredded cheese and drizzled the barbecue sauce on top. Onions would be fantastic on this one too, but again, I was just trying to keep it simple to give you an idea of what you could do, but you can absolutely add whatever you want. So we're going to bake these 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 12 to 15 minutes, or until they're nice and golden brown and your dough is done. Look how good these look, y'all. These are so good. These turned out so much better than I thought they were going to. I'm planning a really big freezer pizza day coming up, hopefully pretty soon. So I wanted to try out extra flavors, and these turned out fantastic. So you will be seeing these again. So for our last two pizzas, we're going to take the rest of our Alfredo sauce and we're going to spread that right down onto this is going to be obviously our chicken Alfredo pizza. So use your Alfredo sauce as your pizza sauce. You're going to just spread that in as thin or as thick of a layer. Now, I don't like a ton of sauce on my pizza, but if you like a lot more sauce than you see me using, you can absolutely use more sauce. So I put down a layer of mozzarella cheese, and because this is Alfredo, I thought some extra Parmesan would be really good here. You can also add extra Parmesan to the other pizzas if you want to. I do that sometimes, but especially on this one. So then add your Alfredo chicken right on the top and kind of spread it out, or I mean, if you like it in big chunks, leave it that way. Then I'm going to add some more mozzarella cheese right to the top of this one, and that one is good to go. So then, because I had an extra piece of dough, I went ahead and put some regular pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, and then just some plain old pepperonis. You can't go wrong with a plain old pepperoni pizza. You know, everybody loves pepperoni. So, and then a little bit of cheese on top. Bake those 450 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes. And they're fantastic when they come out of the oven, y'all. These pizzas all are so good. Now, we always do the pepperoni was good because I've made pepperoni pizza on this channel with different doughs and different ways many times, and it's always a winner. But these chicken pizzas, like I said earlier, these turned out so much better than we were even expecting. So again, you will definitely be seeing these again. They didn't last the day around here. I got one little bite of one of them and didn't see any of the rest of them. So, you know, but I will have to say, second to pepperoni, because pepperoni is my favorite, the barbecue is outstanding. If you don't make any of the other ones, make the barbecue pizza. It's so good. All right, let me know if you've tried these. Let me know if you're gonna try these. All right, that is all that I have for y'all today, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.